Hello everyone, this is Griffin Station back here with another Jump Force video, and today's video is going to be a characters people want for Black Clover. Now before we start this video, I just want to clarify that this will be covering the contents of the manga, and while I won't be going too in-depth with the information, just in case there are those of you who want to watch the anime and not read the manga, I won't be spoiling too much. I'll just be mentioning characters, and so this is just your spoiler warning. As you know, with characters people want, we go from the previous character people want videos comment section and read out what you guys had to say. Now this video, I got a lot of comments, and so this one's going to be a long one. So let's just get right into this. Now I have 8 different comments in this first segment, and I am doing this differently from normal because there were a lot of comments, and so I want to discuss a lot of characters at once. And those characters are 8 points with Asta, 6 points with Yuno, 5 points with Noelle, 2 points with Yami, and 2 points with Leaked. Our first comment comes from Christian Martinez, which says, if Black Clover does make it to Jump Force, I would want Asta and Yami. Cynical3 Plays then says, Asta and Yuno, I'm not a fan of Black Clover. Dragonoid Fox has to say, I want Asta, Yuno, and Noelle. And since he is the main villain as of right now in the manga, Leaked. Here's Johnny says, Asta and Noelle, because their water attacks would be interesting in the realistic style they are going for. Joshua Asante says, I loathe the series, but I only want Yuno. Sam Adam has to say, for Black Clover, I'd like to see Asta, Yuno, Noelle, and Yami. I believe the manga is popular enough to warrant 4 characters. V:18 then has to say, I'm not really much of a fan of Black Clover, but guys, it's obvious they are going to be added. The only characters that I see possible is Asta, Yuno, and Noelle. And lastly, Zach Stevens has to say, I expect 2 or 3 characters from Black Clover. And these would be Asta, Yuno, and a choice between Noelle, Sylvia, female representative, or Leaked, main antagonist. Now diving into these characters, Asta obviously the main character. If they're going to choose any Black Clover characters, he's going to be playable. He would once again be another sword user, and we have a lot of them in Jump Force already. But if we look at Asta as a character, not only could we possibly have a form that he takes in the manga, but Asta would probably be able to absorb opponents' energy, which would be a cool mechanic. Might be broken, but we just have to wait and see. Yuno with his spirit and wind magic would be cool. If we're talking about where he is in the manga right now, that would be super overpowered, but Yuno overall is overpowered regardless. Wind also isn't something we generally even see. I mean, Naruto from the series Naruto is a wind user technically, but he doesn't really use wind. He combines wind with his own abilities, whereas Yuno uses wind specifically. It would really create for a dynamic fighter in Jump Force. Noelle's up next on this list, and we actually don't even have a water user yet. So seeing Noelle use her water abilities, as well as her updated moves up through the manga, would just be amazing. She'd also be a great female representative for the series, and I am just for her being in this game. The next character we're going to be discussing is Yami, and Yami is a dark type user. He also uses a sword, but he uses his magic to enhance his sword play and is just super cool. He always gets second favorite character on the character polls, and honestly is just a super fun character. And Leaked, the last character we're going to be discussing in this particular list, is just a beast. He uses light, he is the main villain of the series, and is just super strong. Imagine Kizaru from One Piece, except it seems as though Leaked is just on another level. Especially if you have read the manga, there is no comparison. Leaked on the battlefield is deadly. Our next two comments both want the character Mars, and here's what they have to say. Disappointed Fuka says, for Black Clover I want Asta, Yuno, Noelle, Yami, and Leaked. I also really like Mars and would be happy if he became playable. Gaming Mobster also says, as a very big Black Clover fan, I would say the characters we can expect at launch are Asta, Yuno, and Leaked. Seeing as how Asta is the main character, Yuno is the rival, and Leaked is the villain, but I would also love if they added Yami or maybe even Mars. Yami was voted as the second favorite character, so it would make sense. It would be cool if he shared a smoke with Sanji. Mars is a personal favorite of mine, especially during the Witch Forest arc. His two magic types, Flame and Mineral, could offer gameplay variety. He could summon crystal soldiers to fight alongside him and heal himself with the Phoenix Robe. Now Mars's diversity would honestly be really cool. Anytime there ever is the opportunity to play as a character that has dual abilities is just a super unique experience because they're really one note and it just sort of looks similar. Whereas characters like Todoroki, Mars, even like let's say Sasuke, they have such different color palettes with their different abilities that it just leads to a really interesting visual spectacle. Our next three comments want the character Luck. Fennec and Flameboy says, for the Black Clover series I want to see Asta, Yuno, Luck Voltia, and for the female representative, Noah Sylvia for Jump Force. Could you imagine Noelle's water ability powers in HD graphics and in next-gen consoles on PS4 and Xbox One? It would be awesome, and she will be one of the anime characters in the game that have water powers. Villeneuve Kurilu Onyobo says, when Black Clover makes it into Jump Force, they'll probably put Asta, Yuno, and Noelle, the manga versions. But I would like Luck and Yami to make it into Jump Force as DLC. Demonic Skull then says, Luck is the best in Black Clover. Mars is cool as well. Now that we're talking about Luck, seeing Luck in this game would be great. He uses electric abilities, moves super fast, and is just super funny. He always has a smile on his face, and is always ready to fight someone. And be able to play as that carefree type of character would just be super great in this game. Our next three comments want the character Magna. Lord Roe 47 says, for Black Clover I want Asta, Yuno, Yami, Magna, and Luck. Maximum Blaze then says, since Black Clover is popular, I want Asta, Yuno, Noelle, Yami, and if they can, Magna. And then Thomas Van Dorn says, Black Clover means we get Asta, Yuno, Yami, and maybe Noelle and Magna. But initial Black Clover reveals will only include the first three. Kind of a no-brainer. Perhaps we'll get the others as DLC. I'm really hoping we get Luck though. He would shine in this game. Imagine Luck versus Killua. BTW, I didn't include any Black Clover villains. I'm clueless when it comes to the villains. Haven't been keeping up with Black Clover, and the early baddies are hardly any real villains. Just a warm-up, I feel. And Thomas, I can see where you're coming from in terms of the villains. It took me a while to actually get into the villains, but once we got Leaked against Yami, that's when I was sold on the villain. And that's also why I can understand why a lot of people are putting Leaked on their list. Now, as far as Magna, he is one of the initial main characters, but his development happens early on in the series and after he just sort of becomes a side character. He is rambunctious and a delinquent, and it would be great to be able to play as that character. I know some aren't the biggest fan of his character, but being able to use a bat, maybe swing some fireballs at people would just be fun. Our next two comments want the Wizard King, Julius. Hype Master says, I'd want Asta, Yuno, and Wizard King Julius. And Tobito Chiha says, I have a pretty basic wish list. Asta, Noelle, Yami, Wizard King Julius, and Yuno. And for the boss in the story mode, they could have Leaked. Julius is a big fan of magic, and he is just super fun. When you think of a Wizard King, you would think he'd be this high and mighty ruler, but no, he's pretty common, and it just makes for a really interesting and dynamic character. He is super strong, and I would love to see his time abilities in this game. As far as putting Leaked as a boss in the story mode, that's actually a pretty intriguing way to go in terms of taking the character. I would always assume that if they were going to include him in the game, they would just include him as playable. He is playable in Black Clover Quartet Nights, and so if they were to just do story mode only, I don't know if fans would receive that too well. His powers are extremely broken and he is extremely strong, and so they might try to avoid making him playable. Stussy Hayaku says, I want Asta, Luck, and Yami. Zora, Noelle, and Yuno manga version would be cool. Now Zora is a character that does not appear on this list and is a manga only character, so I'm not going to go too deep into the character and what he does, but I will just leave this here for you all to listen to.
It's a trap!
Chad Bluck says, I want Asta, Leaked, Yuno, Noelle, Mars, Rades, and Yami, but only for the black hole power for create a character. I'm actually surprised at that approach of wanting stuff for the create a character system. I never really thought about that way. Because if characters are going to be included in the game, their moves are probably going to be in the create a character system, and so if you want particular moves in the create a character system, they probably have to be playable. We do already have Blackbeard, which has a sort of black hole move, so technically they could just do that for the create a character system. Rades is the new character on this list, and Rades is an early villain, I would say, of the series. He does reappear later, but I would say he is one of the first villains that actually are sort of a threat. He is able to revive people from the dead, and I'm not sure exactly how they would make it work in a moveset. I'd be really interested in Rades as a playable character. Let's say if Gon uses his ultimate and dies off, so you can only use 2 other characters. Rades is one of your other characters, and he is able to revive Gon. That would be broken, but it would be another interesting dynamic in the fighting system. Miku Clown says, for Black Clover, I would like to see Asta, Noelle, Captain Yami, and maybe Yuno. For the villain, I would like to see the Beast Guy, or Leaked. Now when Miku Clown says the Beast Guy, I assume he's talking about Veto, who you can basically summarize as Despair. He is the current villain of the latest anime arc, and it would sort of make sense if they were going to include a recent villain that a lot of people recognize from the anime, rather than just taking Leaked. But at the same time, they're really going for manga content, so they might just skip over Veto and go straight for Leaked. Doomsday95 says, for Black Clover, I would like Asta, Yuno, Leopold Vermilion, and Yami for the heroes. Leaked, Veto, and Mars for the villains. And for the woman representatives, Noelle, Charlotte, and Mario Leona Vermilion. And maybe Luck and Magna for a combo character. Now looking at this list, that's a lot of characters, and they simply aren't going to do 10 characters in Jump Force for one series. But we can still dissect the characters that were chosen for this list, and see why they could make it into Jump Force. Leopold Vermilion is a rival to both Asta and Yuno, and it would be cool to see another character from the universe in this game. Now, out of all the characters listed on this list, I feel Leopold actually has the least likely chance to make it into Jump Force. Charlotte is the next character on this list that hasn't been mentioned before. She is a captain of the Magic Knights, and I would say is one of the main captains that we see throughout the series. She also has a strong connection with Yami, and therefore I feel out of all the captains, she has a likelier chance of being in this game. And then we have Mario Leona Vermilion. Now those of you who haven't read the manga don't know who she is, but I will just say she is a beast. She would be an amazing female representative for Jump Force. She is probably one of the strongest characters in the series. She is just super fun and an amazing character. I honestly can't wait for her debut in the anime. She has risen up on my list of one of my favorite characters of the entire series. Our last comment comes from Ome Heartless 21, which says, "Oh yes, this is one of the big ones I've been waiting for." Now, they clarify that they want the manga versions of Asta, which they don't know how they'd make them do things as he does in the manga. If you're up to date as of September 6, 2018, then you'd understand. I don't want to go into any spoilers, and I'm not going to go into any spoilers as well. Second, Yuno. The third is Yami, and the fourth is Luck. If we get any bad guys, I'd say Leaked or maybe one of the three generals. Example, Ria, Veto, or Fauna. We may also get Noel Silva. I feel as though we'll get 3 of these people, but these people have the highest chance, I think. Most of these characters we have seen in our character list before, but there are 2 specifically we have not seen, which are Ria and Fauna. Now Ria, Fauna, and Veto are all Third Eye members of the Eye of the Midnight Suns. They are super strong, and honestly, besides Leaked, these are the 3 main villains of the series. If they want to include villains other than Leaked, these are the 3 they would probably go with. Now as for my list is actually pretty simple. I only have 3 characters on it, which are Asta, Noel, and Yuno. Asta obviously as the main character. I feel Noel is the second most important character in the series. I feel she's more important than Yuno. Yuno is, I would say he's important to the series, but he doesn't appear that often. And while he is a big part of the manga right now, he has times where he's just not there. And even though Yuno is the main rival, I feel as though Noel just plays a bigger role in the story. And that's why I would put Noel above Yuno. Are you guys surprised by the number of characters that people wanted from Black Clover? I actually am now leaving a poll in the top left section of this video. And there's just a little eye. I would love to hear what you guys have to say there, and also in the comment section down below. For our next characters people want, you'll be discussing D. Greyman, which I have now officially started, and will hopefully be finished with the series by the time next week rolls around. So leave your comment in the comment section down below which characters from D. Greyman you want in Jump Force. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you want to see more Jump Force news, updates, and discussion videos, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!